Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I have a treat for you. So is this circuitry right here I have designed, and I do not believe I have seen anyone else do this on YouTube. I probably am wrong, but I came up with this all myself. I used no one else's videos because I couldn't find any, and I just thought this would be a cool little circuit that you may or may not want in your world. Its uses are probably fairly limited. That being said, I think it's awesome. So, what this does is it keeps track of your Minecraft days. So, I'm obviously in my creative Redstone test world that is blank besides this. And so it uses the daylight sensor, right? And you can have this at any point. Wherever you want to count as day starting is wherever you want it, right? I got it at max length, and it's usually about 5,000. And sun's going up. Yeah, so this is actually going to activate here real soon. So what happens in this, obviously this looks like quite a lot. I'm not sure how compact this is. You can probably make this smaller. There's probably some stuff that's not even necessary in here. It's just what I got to get this to work. And obviously this happened just was a spur of moment thing that I thought of to make, and I don't know, it can probably be compacted and some of this stuff might not be necessary. But as you can see, that just clicked, and it was about when the sun was almost straight up. Obviously it's a little bit over, but that's just how daylight sensor works. I might only have that being 14 instead of 15 blocks. I'm not positive. But as you saw, it went, and now Tuesday's depending on, you could have this be whatever you want. Start at Sunday, start at Monday. If we're starting at Sunday, Monday is now active. And so what happens here is it takes this output from the daylight sensor, which is a steady stream, which was a problem at first, and I turned it into a pulse. So this just turns it into a pulse, this little thing right here. And the reason I did that was because I needed it, for some reason, this going into here, I'm not great at Redstone, obviously. I was able to come up with this. I think I'm decent with it, but I don't understand everything. And I needed to make a one-tick pulse, right? And apparently taking a full signal and trying to turn it into a one-tick pulse with this doesn't work. So I had to turn it into a regular pulse first, which then goes in and gets turned into a one-tick pulse. This light blue, both of these are turning into one-tick pulses. And the one-tick pulse is necessary for all of this part to work. This part needed a pulse lengthener, actually, which is that magenta color right there. But so then what happens is this one tick pulse travels over here, and this is obviously you're pushing the block in. So now the one tick pulse, when this is first started, this block is on where the piston is. So it comes over here, this gets cut off by repeater, so it doesn't do anything. Comes back, hits the piston to push it forward. And a one tick pulse pushes it forward and leaves the block there, which is what we wanted, because we wanted it to be able to lock this at turned off. And the reason we need to lock it at turned off is because more one tick pulses are going to be coming through here, and we do not want this firing every single day, right? You only want it to lock there, and we want to unlock it later. And so the way that we do this is we hit that, block gets dropped off over there. Then that signal also comes over here, hits this piston, pushes the redstone block forward, locking that, as well as locking itself off. Because again, we don't want this turning on off all the time. And we also need this one tick because we wanted to drop it so that we can push it back with a piston later. Now, we could have just used a regular piston here. Now that I'm thinking about this, and the regular piston, you'd hit, push it forward, and then once the reset comes, pushes it back. So this second part here is unnecessary. Just use a regular piston, and you don't need to have this redstone going into this, locking this, right? Because once it's pushed it there, the second one-tick pulses are going to come in, it'll push the piston, but it's obviously not going to pull the piston back. Now, it's going to be louder because every single day all of the pistons are going to go off. So I guess if you want to have this be silent or more silent, you're going to need to use the sticky piston in with this. Or lock the regular piston too. But either way, it's going to require this part. So this actually does make it quieter since it's not going to be going off every day. Only the one current day will be going off. So Then the next day, same signal comes through, and this stuff's locked off, so it's not going to do anything. I know, I love the fact that I'm using these the repeaters. I don't think I've ever used them before, but they're very useful for this. I think it's the only way you could do it. So the signal comes through, and it sees this block here, and the repeater, it'll go right on through and do the same thing for day 2. All of these are built exactly the same, all the way down. And for the output, now the output at first I thought was going to be really easy. Put a repeater there, output, right? Not quite, because of how we wanted to do it. So the way we wanted to do this is you want this active every day until the next day, or until the next week, right? So I have 7 of these, so you want this to stay active until the end, and then it's going to come back. And actually, this one we want to stay active, because you don't go from Saturday to nothing to Sunday. You go Saturday straight to Sunday. So Saturday active. This actually does deactivate and then reactivates. And I'll get to that later when we get to the pink over there. So what we did is throw it into an RS NOR latch. And that is simply this yellow here. And what that does, this takes the observer, sees when this block gets put here, powers this one, which turns this, well, yeah, it would turn this one off, flipping this one on, giving us our output. And that's the same for all of these, all the way down. And then what happens when we get to the end? So once Saturday's done, we fill up Saturday. So it'll go, and it'll be active for the whole day. The next time the signal comes through is when we reset. So that comes up here into this, did I use the same color for that? Oh, this is the same thing. This is also a 1-tick pulse. I don't think this was necessary, because it was already a 1-tick pulse. Maybe is it not? I don't remember. It might not be a 1-tick pulse going through here. I think this was necessary. I had to do it. I believe, because this was a 1-tick pulse coming through. There's something that I'm not entirely sure, because it would have been a 1-tick pulse for that. So it comes through here, and I turn it into a 1-tick pulse again. I don't think it was necessary. Maybe this could be taken out. If you're going to be building this for yourself, this may be able to be taken out, but you might need it. I'm not entirely positive. I was kind of excited about getting this working that I just wanted to make the video right away. I didn't try to make it smaller, didn't try to do anything else. I got the outputs working, and I just started recording right away. So this just makes another 1-tick pulse, and it comes up here. And at first I didn't have this part, so we'll talk about this first. 1-tick pulse was necessary over here, not over here. This needed to be pulse lengthened. But so 1-tick pulse goes over these observers, which are over the pistons. And so once Saturday's done, comes up here, pulse comes over here, pushes the redstone block back to its starting point, unlocking this piston, and also unlocking this piston. So then they actually all fire at first. But so then the redstone, the piston shoots out, grabs it, pulls it back. And it does that all the way down. Then we added in this reset system for Sunday, Monday, whatever you want to start your day in. So that all that is I put a delay on it so that make sure it's done resetting first. Comes over here, remakes it a 1-tick pulse, because adding this delay screwed up the 1-tick pulse. It makes it longer, so you gotta go remake it into a 1-tick pulse again. Comes back down and just re-enters the system. And so then this block will be back here, so the signal doesn't continue on. It'll just reset this, returning this one on, and then it's safe to go again. Now for over here, obviously I said we need the pulse lengthener, just the comparator with the 3 blocks above with redstone. And I put a little bit of a delay on it as well, just so that it doesn't get the observer, when the block pulls away, I don't want the observer to reset the system right away. I don't know if that's necessary as well. The repeater definitely I wanted to have just in case. I guess I didn't need it because I have this one, but extra repeaters are never a problem. So the delay into the pulse lengthener comes over here and just hits this block, and that turns this one on. And the reason it needed the pulse lengthener is a 1 tick delay is not long enough to turn this guy on or off, sorry, as it would be over here. So this one's on. 1 tick pulse is not long enough for this to turn this torch off. The pulse will go through and just do nothing. And then all you do from your RS NOR latch is take your output from over here and do whatever you want to do with it. So uses for this, I think there's not many. There are some that I could think of. If you want a calendar, I think that would be this. I just think this is pretty neat. So first of all, if you just want something neat, this is it. You can make a calendar. You could possibly use this in some type of role-playing map, adventure maps. What else could this be used for? If you wanted your farms to go off on certain days, so you're getting a redstone output, and you could easily turn this into a pulse then again, if you needed a pulse instead of a full-on thing. So if you had like a wheat farm growing, and you wanted that to then go off, say, I don't know, every other day, hook this one, this one, and this one up to it, and it'll activate on every one of those days then. I don't know if you want certain farms going off on certain days or whatever you want. So one thing I was thinking for this was I wanted in my next server, I'm going to want to build, I don't know what, some sort of castle type thing. I'm not entirely sure yet. I haven't came up with any thoughts. But I wanted a firework machine. So every Saturday it would set off fireworks at midnight. So I wouldn't be using this at daytime, because obviously it would go off middle of the day. I would set it to nighttime. I'm not entirely sure how this works with nighttime. I didn't really test with it yet. I'm sure just switching that over to nighttime and it just works. I wouldn't assume anything else. We can actually test that now. See what it does. I don't know when daylight sensors get to max, if it's at midnight or not. I think it might be based on where it is right now. And then it'll just activate whenever that gets to full. So I'll be using something like this in the next server in my Let's Play. I'm not going to really be doing a tutorial for you guys on this one. I'll go over and spend a little time over every part of it just so you can see how to do it. And obviously you can have it wherever. So this was the to turn a flat signal into a pulse. This is your 1 tick pulse, your RS NOR latch with your reset. And these repeaters on top can be anywhere. I obviously did not try to optimize spacing. That's not anywhere near 15 blocks in there. So this is your output system and your reset system. Your pulse lengthener, another 1 tick pulse over here. Your reset system on top, and the back. And this one is a regular piston, and this is a sticky piston. Sticky piston, again, is not necessary. It's just if you wanted this to be more silent, I guess. You can take it out for a regular piston, and you don't even need the locking system. It'll just be louder then, because they'll all activate every day. And yeah, and then then your reset Monday, Sunday switch, whatever day you want to start it at. And that's that. If you guys want a tutorial on it, I will go back and try to rebuild this. I do not think it is necessary. It's mostly fairly simple stuff, I think. I think you have enough resources here to be able to figure this out for yourselves. If you do want the tutorial, I will make it. But for now, that will be it. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Oh, and one last thing I forgot to say. This system does have a little quirks to it. So one thing that is limiting on it is this sensor right here. It's not always the same output. So if you have a cloudy, rainy, stormy day, the output is less than what it would normally be. So you won't get it to activate at the same time of day every day if you have it that way. If it is also a limiting factor is obviously this is all redstone based, and if you want it to be accurate, putting it at your base is not going to be accurate because it gets unloaded, and then the days aren't going to be going until it gets reloaded. So you would have to be built within spawn chunks. Now, spawn chunks are always loaded, which is why there's a lot of iron farms that get built at spawn chunks. If you need help finding spawn chunks, one of the easiest ways is to get a compass. It'll point right to the very center of your spawn chunk. Also, if you break your bed and kill yourself, you'll get teleported relatively close to your spawn chunks, not necessarily the very center. And there is a method to finding the exact border of your spawn chunks, and I will post a video to Azumavoid, who has a very nice video on how to do that, I've actually not done it, so I'm not going to make a video on doing it yet. I probably won't do it at all, actually. So Azumavoid has a very nice video of it. I'll have a link to that in the description. And also, I didn't even show this blah 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 blah. I have not showed you guys how this actually works. So I'm gonna switch this back to daytime sensor. Oop, lost my flight. And I will do some commands to switch the days. So I set it to 1,000 first and then 5,000, just so that the redstone over there actually changes and reactivates the system. So when you do that, you see the third one activated. Now the fourth one activates. The fifth. The sixth. The seventh. And then this is the one where it resets. See, it goes through, powers all of them, turns them all off, and returns on the first one. And alright, I think I've now covered everything. I can't believe I forgot to actually show it off originally. I think I covered all the quirks about it. It should just be those two. And yeah, I think it's a cool system. I think you guys will like it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.